Rift Wars! Where in the world's Abaddon? So, here's a new campaign book. Warzone Nachmund Rift War. So, 2 words that are easy to say, which is awesome. Abaddon's doing more stuff, and then he's still not in the campaign book with an army. Pretty interesting, right? Well, this book gives you 3 armies of renown, or 3 different ways to make your army. One for Space Marines, the Castellan. The other one is the Thousand Sons, and it's like a Brayherd Zangor version. And then the final one is a Dark Elder or Drukhari one that is all about the Coven guys. So it's basically Haemonculi and all of them and their gross friends. The first one hits up is the Castellan. It's again a kind of a weird mixture Marine army. The way they build out Marines is 2 different powers shoved together gives you their chapter traits. The first one is just ignoring wounds of 1 to 2, and the other one is getting +1 hit if they charge or do a heroically intervene. Not terrible, but again with the new kind of matchup that's called Terminator Gate with all of the new Space Marine stuff. I don't see a lot of people using this one, bar someone wanting to run something fluffy. There's a couple different stratagems, a small set of warlord traits, and everything else from there. So it's okay. Again, like I said, with the Marines, you're going up heavy Terminators, and so you're still going to see Salamanders, maybe some White Scars, some advanced and charging stuff. I don't think you're going to see these guys. They just don't seem to cut it. I mean, there's some okay stuff, like they can get pluses to hit if they're like things are at half strength. They're kind of like the Guardian, like they're basically holding Guardian Marines, unlike Imperial Fists, which are Siege Marines. So that kind of setup. So it's okay. I'm not super excited. Again, the problem I have with Marines is now especially they're going to be tough to remove, but I don't know how much they're killing. So it's just kind of a weird army and a weird setup. And it's kind of weird to throw this in here as a quick little army renown without like an extra kind of data. So I guess you would call it like a mini dex on it, and it's just not nearly as interesting. The one after that you would say would be the Thousand Sons. If I can't remember, it's like some kind of a warp or something. Warp things or some weird Zangor nonsense thing. So that's okay. Like the big idea about this one is that you could remove your limitation of Zangors and you do a Zangor heavy army. So if you have a bunch of them, or you had a bunch of them from the last edition, this might be an army you'll play. You can take a whole bunch of them. You've got some options to heal. There's a really cool spawn powerful increase option. You can get some extra AP on your the disc flying Zangors with a fate caster or fate bows. So it's neat. They even give away that you can generate Cabal points with your Zangors because you lose them without having rubrics or anything else in the army, so you got to use some of that. Again, with the data slate update, Scarab Cult Terminators are just going to be so much better than almost anything else you put on the table. I would say that they're going to show up more. It is kind of neat though. This little update allows you to have like a free move in the beginning of the game, which is pretty neat. And then you can kind of redeploy within your deployment zone, which can be okay as you can move a bunch of stuff around, so you get a whole lot of movement. So there could be some power in there, which I think is neat. It gives you some fun options, fun different stuff to play with them. I don't know how much is really going to be on a competitive one. I think the first 2, the Castellan and these Zangor friends, are just not nearly as interesting on there. I kind of wish we had more for the Tzeentch one. Something else had made rubrics maybe a little bit more interesting. They don't need to do anything for Terminators, but there's a few small things. Like right now, the biggest fear in a lot of stuff is just needing more AP damage out. I mean, you're still slow, so you have to have stuff that has to have some kind of better movement, some options. You can teleport, but it's just not nearly as much. And finally, we have the Haemonculi Coven-based option, which replaces your Obsession with a 4-up Feel No Pain if you're below half strength, and some other stuff. And this one might be a problem. We already know about the 170 rack list, and this just seems tailored to say, hey, we're just going to do 170 racks. It might be really good into Tyranids because that's a whole lot to kill, and giving a whole lot of things a 4-up Feel No Pain is going to be a pain to dig through, especially with a bunch of poison weapons and everything else. So maybe this is an answer to Tyranids. Maybe this is going to be the way that, you know, we have something that makes them scared to deal with. That is by far the best one out of this one. I mean, the Haemonculi, the Coteries of the Haemonculi. It is again like a mini codex. You get 3 warlord traits, you get some relics, you get their rules. It is pretty, like I said, pretty interesting. Just the 4-up Feel No Pain is a flat kind of overall thing. Like we've known for a long time a 50-50 shot to ignore a wound is pretty powerful. You do have to get them below half strength, so you know there is a chance to start causing some other weird leadership checks as you start doing damage into them. But it's, you know, pretty spicy. They do have a batch of stratagems. Again, this army is going to be all the Coven army and everything else, so it's going to be there. It's going to be racks. It's going to be this stuff. They're going to be running around causing problems. I think the idea is a board control army, which is what the racks are doing. And with the whole, you know, depending on what is legal and what not legal with NIDS, they will probably be something good. So overall, I mean, like you get 3 things in here. You still don't get anything with Chaos Space Marines because, you know, that book isn't out yet. Why put out rules that don't matter to it till the book comes out? Abaddon is doing its own Abaddon stuff. I'm wondering if the end of this campaign book is going to show, you know, the release of Chaos Space Marines. That's kind of my big kind of thought on it. I like the Thousand Sun one. You know, if you have a whole bunch of Zangus, I think I have a whole bunch of boxes of Zangus. And so it'd be neat to kind of, you know, run them around and play them and have this big army of beastmen running around, of Tzeentch. And of course, I think, you know, the rack one playing into what is good currently in competitive 4K, which is going to be a lot of board control, objective secured options, might be a really, really powerful and really annoying to deal with, because that's a whole lot of bodies to chew through that can start ignoring saves pretty quickly. And they attack okay back. Like I said, it's always one of those, the cheapest, best objective secured units we've got in the game. It might be kind of breathe some life into Dark Eldar, which are still not a bad army. They're just, a lot of the people that played them and play them heavily have switched over to Eldar or Harlequins. Versus just sticking with it and trying to keep the Dark Eldar dream alive of stabbing you with needles and making everyone feel uncomfortable with probably kissy faces in the dark. But that's what you got. I mean, this is overall, I don't know necessarily if it's worth it if you have one of those armies. And I would say probably not the Marine one. If you have Thousand Suns and you want to play Zangors, it's worth it. If you want to play a lot of racks and everything else, then this is worth it. So that's what we have on this one. So that's the campaign. But, you know, I love it how it's like the onslaught of chaos, you know, Huron and Abaddon. And there's no Abaddon rules or anything in here. He's just in the shadows saying, we're going to assault with all this stuff and put rules out for other units that might not be doing anything in this campaign book. But that's it for now. Anyway, this is Goat Boy from Bowls. Click on one of these links over here if you want to see any other 40K content, and I'll see you later. Rift Wars!